With the government in choppy waters and the economy heading for Brexit turbulence, John McDonnell has been practicing his captaincy skills. To relax away from Westminster and clear the mind, the would-be Chancellor of the Exchequer reveals that he and his wife, Cynthia, have been heading for the Norfolk Broads for sailing breaks. We decided we needed to do a sport together, some activity, so we took up dinghy sailing. He hoots with laughter, recalling the original name of the vessel they bought a few years ago. Believe it or not, I think it was called the Morning Star. Pure coincidence. The name has dropped off now. These days we just call it the boat. He scrolls through some pictures on his phone until he finds one featuring his friend Jeremy Corbyn, who stayed with the McDonnells recently at a hut they own next to their mooring. Look, there he is, classic Jeremy, he says, pointing at a figure in the distance, standing perilously close to what looks like the end of a jetty. Can you see him? And I'm saying get down. You are going to cause a by-election. McDonnell is under no illusions about his or his wife's sailing abilities. We're rubbish, he admits. People get off the water when they see us coming because, he shakes his head, it's terrible. The Shadow Chancellor, a self-proclaimed Marxist, can be engaging company. He has rarely been asked much about this side of his life, the one away from politics, but he seems comfortable opening up about it. I read a lot, theatre, cinema, the rest of it, he says. He is happy, too, talking about how he got to where he is today, the early steps on his extraordinary journey to the top echelons of the Labour Party. McDonnell was born in Liverpool, did his A-levels in Burnley, then made his way via Brunel University into the trades union movement while at the same time working as a house father in a children's home in Hillingdon, West London, for 13 years, looking after 10 youngsters. These days he has his own large family, 2 daughters from a first marriage, a son from his second, and 5 grandchildren. They are all descending on me this weekend, the Northern Tribe, he says. It will be fun now, aged 66, his time to enjoy life outside Westminster is more squeezed than ever. Relatively late in life, huge levels of political responsibility have been thrust on his shoulders. Throughout the New Labour years, McDonnell was a lonely figure on the party's far left, along with Corbyn. Both were largely ignored by the media. Before Wednesday's budget, however, he is being scrutinised as never before, not only because he is in charge of Labour's economic policy, but because he is in effect auditioning for the Chancellor's role. If he feels pressure, he disguises it well, joking about his years opposing his own party. Gordon Brown, bless him, said the other night that John McDonnell was always Shadow Chancellor because he was always the shadow. I'd always do an alternative budget, to Brown's, and get up and present it in Parliament. These days, though, McDonnell is having to think not about being the rebel within, but about leading and governing. He says that Corbyn approached Theresa May's office last week to ask if all the shadow ministerial teams could have access to civil servants, so they could learn the ropes of running government departments.